back here in the United States. President Obama is now defending his administration's handling of the Boston terror attack as federal investigators continue digging deeper into the two bombing suspects. Joined now by Anna Sigga-Nicolazzi, who is a New York district attorney, and Jonathan Gilliman, who was a member of the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force in New York. He's also a former Navy SEAL and the president and CEO of United States Continued Service. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for being here today. There's the before question and there's the after question. And I want to deal with the before question here first, because what we heard from the president yesterday was that basically everybody was doing their job, that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And Director Clapper, who runs the DNI, which is supposed to draw all of these entities together, his office says that he believes that every agency involved in collecting and sharing prior to the attack took all of the appropriate steps. So let me ask you this, Jonathan. If they took all of the appropriate steps, how could they have missed what this guy was up to?
Well, those are great words coming from what I call a senior executive, and that's typical. Obviously, the system missed some things. The ground agents are the heroes in this show, but typically these executives and the political movement, they're still infighting within the executives, and a lot of the times these individuals, they have their own agendas, and these agencies are so big now that things they just slip through the crack.
Yes, so big is the operative word. You've got a terror watch list that has some 700,000 people on it, which is, to my mind, just extraordinary. I find it hard to believe that there are genuinely 700,000 people who belong on that list, and the name variations haven't been ironed out, and all of that, all these years later. Anna Sigga, it goes back to also the cities and their law enforcement and how much information they're getting, because remember, right after Boston, they put a video up saying, does anybody know who these people are? And yet one of them had already been on the FBI's radar, and they had been tracking him.
Right. But, Martha, as you said before, there's two questions. There is the past and the future. And, that watch list you're talking about, the numbers are incredible, but people are put on that watch list for as little as one unverified tip. And absolutely, that could be credible. They could be a real threat, and it could also be nothing to it. So the question, I guess, for the future is what do we do, if anything, to try to streamline these organizations? We have 17 different levels of counterintelligence agencies. But to jump to saying, because an executive is saying everything was handled correctly, I am not so willing to jump to saying they didn't do things right. And that's what this investigation is for. It's much easier to put the pieces together now in the aftermath, and law enforcement has it there.
Of course, and we all recognize that. Hindsight is always 20/20, but I think, that everyone involved needs to say, look, you know what, this fell through the cracks, and we need to figure out why. And we're just getting information crossing into our urgent queue moments ago that the U.S. House Homeland Security Committee Chairman, Mike McCall, who was on Fox News Sunday over the weekend, announced that there is a hearing now scheduled for May 9th to examine what happened and the implications for Homeland Security. So here we have another hearing. Jonathan, does that give you any hope?
Well, I agree 100% with Anna there. Things need to be streamlined. And since 9/11, there's been a move, or at least more of a focus, to bring agents off the street and into the databases. And there's just too much information, too many databases, too many leads that don't mean anything. And now we're seeing the result of that, which is too many meetings.
Yeah.
So there's really, these individuals, these executives need to go back and streamline the system.
But Jonathan, the Department of National Intelligence was created to join those 17 agencies and to make sure that streamlining was happening. Have they been effective in your mind?
No, and the reason is the way the federal government works is you either choose to be an agent or you choose to be an executive. And if you travel to the top, you know the least about investigating. They need to take seasoned investigators and put them in charge of restructuring this, not senior executives.
Yeah, you look at the fact, Anna, that Tamerlan Tsarnaev traveled to Russia and Dagestan, and while he was there, the watch that the FBI had on him, the period of time expired while he was there. So if Russia has warned you about this guy, and let's put up Russia's warning on the screen quickly if we can. Very clear terms Russia has warned you about this guy. Why would you allow that watch to expire while he's there and not give yourself the extra warrant time, which most people I've talked to agree he would have been given, to continue to follow his actions?
You know, look, this is absolutely very difficult stuff, and we all wish that something could have or would have been done to stop this travesty. But, you know, it's very difficult to ferret out these self-radicalized individuals because they don't have necessarily any group organized ties, which are easier to find. And, you know, the little pieces of the investigation will hopefully show us, was every stone unturned to see if they could find something? And God willing, the answer is yes, because it's horrible that as this is, it's only worse if we think something was missed that could have prevented it. But we certainly should use this as a lesson learned moving forward and see, is there anything else that we can do to, one, streamline and add to try to save the lives in the future.
We can't let ourselves off the hook. We need to be diligent in figuring out what happened here. Jonathan, thank you very much.
Thank
Anna
you.
Siga, thank you very much.